Yeah. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Solke coming at you with another video. For those of you that don't know, my name is Solke and I am releasing an EP soon. I've been saying soon since the beginning of the year because we're in a fundraising process that is taking longer than anticipated. However, through faith and prayer, we will reach that goal. So today, before we look into track 3 of my EP, I would like for us to discuss my musical style. The style that is often perceived as not gospel-ish. I actually grew up listening to a group called Third Exodus in Trinidad. They are a church that released gospel music. They originally wrote and do a lot of covers. In my circle of influences, it was one of the people that were consistent in producing music that is readily available. Yeah, vocals were not amazing, but they're really good. A lot of my taste came from the Trinidad style of music. They had the very traditional way of writing music. The verse, chorus, verse, bridge, and rephrase. Song goes on for like 10 minutes, you know. In my beginning stages, I learned a lot of how to structure my songs from Trinidad. And also they put a whole lot of content relatable to them in their music. However, my immediate surroundings, I grew up in Soweto, Orlando East and Pimville, to be specific. My grandfather is a priest going new church. They have the more madodana asewesele type style of singing. Music that is packed with harmony and tone and instruments. They didn't really do much. It was just a pillow and that was your rhythm section. So a lot of their music was not carried by musical advancements, but rather intention and purpose in reaching that unforgettable praise and worship. That's where I got my desire for strong, elevated worship vocals. I started developing a different music vocabulary when I played guitar. Guitar now took me into the groovy side of life. All the genres that were guitar-centric influenced a lot of my playing. Talking your jazz, your blues, your funky stuff. And I got to test out all of those perspectives in places like weddings, funerals, jam sessions, studio sessions, or just guys getting together and saying, let's play something, let's record something for Instagram. I developed a very complex musical vocabulary when I started pursuing guitar. And the church that I grew in is very conservative. The Willows Assembly in Pretoria. We have more, when I was younger rather, we sang more hymns and country style, Western influenced gospel tracks, you know. On the rugged cross stood that type of stuff. And he said, peace, peace, peace unto his lovely bride. Shalom. Songs like the great physician now is here, the sympathizing Jesus. You know what I mean? I just feel like having church already going through like just those simple songs. Those songs woke me up to the fact that your music must be intentional. It must invoke a message that will connect you better with God. It must leave an atmosphere that allows you the privilege to be so tuned into the word that you want to hear more of it. I've obviously dived a little bit into all these different types of music every time I grew. When I was young, I sang like the Trinidadians. And when I grew older, I leaned more towards the joyous type music. And then I started leaning more towards the Hillsong, Bethel type music because I had the taste for everything because of the influences that I was influenced by as a young person. I feel like now I have officially had my I understand it moment because I have a good balance of each and every part of those influences in how I deliver the message through music. Every part of those influences has touched me in focusing on the most important parts of that genre. And then the songwriting is influenced by the church that I went to and the type of songs that we sang and how I felt after we sang those type of songs that are very spiritual. I now write music based on what I'm going through, sing and record the music based on how I feel at that moment so that the message is authentic to how I feel and the emotions that I want to relay. And I always make sure that my music ties to a spiritual grounded message, which brings me to the track 3 of my EP, Kancane Wenhliziyo Yami. I think I learned a very big lesson in the past few years that take things slow and anticipate only what God is willing to excite you about, where He makes a way for you. My pastor often says, how do you know that it's God's will? When He makes a way, when the desire is in your heart, and when it doesn't contradict the word of God. You must take it slow, and this song is addressing that very specific flaw about the human heart, that you should only move when God says move. So without further ado, this is Kancane. I'm going to play a little bit of it to give you a sneak peek, and to my future funders, God bless you. I hope you hear this and you're inspired even more. So for those of you that don't know, this is not the final vocal. It's a test vocal. So I usually run through ideas to see what would work. Here we go. Kancane wenhliziyo yami, track 3 of my EP, Christian Hearts Break 2.
Hold on, you fragile heart, don't rush. Unit 54 was far from home and it was way too fast.
So yeah, that's it. We will depart at the appearance of God. We will move at the entrance of Jesus. And for those of you that are interested in funding my project, please do send me an email. My email is in the description and I will send you the proposal with the goals that we are attempting to reach. And for those of you that can't contribute, please feel free to share this information with anyone that you might know who has deep pockets. And more importantly, please pray for me. Pray for me and the success of the launch of this EP. Jesus is coming back.